Hey, all you Holly weirdos. Glad to see you're back from part 1 of Haunted Louisville. Now we're ready for part 2, another sweet helping of our Halloween treat for you as we are ending our slightly long hiatus. Don't worry, we're gearing up for some more ghost stories in and around Los Angeles, along with some pretty interesting and spooky interviews with some of the greats in the industry. Now, as you heard in part 1, we're going to be taking a wild tour throughout one of Louisville's gems, and that is Caulfield's Novelty and Costume Shop, located in downtown Louisville, right next door to the Louisville Slugger Museum. This place definitely didn't disappoint when it came to the displays, the inventory, and its haunts. And we're not talking about the animatronics that are on display within the dungeon area. That's a separate one that we're going to touch later down the road. We have a sit-down discussion with the staff members of Caulfields as they recall their most terrifying and unexplainable experiences with the store's apparitions. Who or what is haunting Caulfields? Could it be the ghost of Marvin? This tall apparition that seems to have a thing for the women, and it's not good. Or maybe it's the doppelganger. Yeah, the store has everything, including a doppelganger. Or maybe it's the childlike, poltergeist-like energy they call Zach. And who is this apparition of Miss Ruby? There's so many apparitions, so many inventory pieces to go over in this shop. So we're going to get very creepy, very spooky, and most of all, very Hollyweird with the members of Caulfield's Novelty and Costume Shop. So grab that Wild Turkey whiskey if you're over the age of 21, or hug your salt lamp very close to you, because we're going to get Hollyweird with Caulfields, y'all. Hey, all you Holly weirdos. Glad to see that you're finally back from part 1, and I'm glad that we didn't scare you off with the ghosts of the Sealback Hotel. Now, if we haven't scared you off, then you want to get ready, because we're going to hop into my Nissan Verse. Yes, that's all that Hertz had. And we're going to drive a whopping 6 minutes down the street, and we're going to head to a very beautiful and very interesting gem in Louisville, Kentucky, and that is Caulfield's Novelty and Costume Shop. Now, before we go through the double doors of this establishment and learn about its inventory, its decor, and its ghosts, we must cover a couple of bases. Well, first and foremost, we need to learn the history of Caulfields, because this is a 100+ year family-run business, and it has a ton of history and famous clientele. Then we'll follow up with what possibly could be one of the links to the hauntings that is occurring in this location. You'll never believe what occurred in front of Caulfields hundreds of years ago. Okay, but before we go into that, let's start with the Caulfields history, because this is a fascinating story. It starts in 1915 in the middle of downtown Louisville. You have Kieran S. Caulfield, an Irish immigrant who opened Caulfield's photography studio. Business was really good, but it was about to get better. You see, Kieran had a thing for gag gifts, and he decided one day, let's carry a few in the store. Well, it turned out that they sold out immediately, and the demand for them grew even more. So by 1920, Caulfield's photography studio turns into Caulfield's Novelties, which is now located at 106 West Main Street. For over 100 years, the Costume and Novelty store has remained a family business, despite moving 3 times and growing to be one of the largest theatrical distributors in the U.S. and becoming Louisville's #1 Halloween destination. Now, let's go over a couple of this store's famous little displays. Actually, little is a great big understatement, considering that this store is actually famous for having the world's largest vampire bat. Yes, you got that right. In 2000, the iconic 36-foot tall bat lurking on the side of the building was created to playfully rival Derby City's other world's largest bat at the Louisville Slugger Museum, which is actually a block away. It is definitely a sight to see. Now, the bat also has a friend. There's this ginormous metal skull right next to it, and you cannot miss it. It is definitely eye candy. But let's also talk about the Cadillac hearse. This store is known to have a hearse that is parked out in the front of the store and is another recognizable legacy of Caulfields. The haunted 1947 hot rod, yep, it's haunted, which doubled as an ambulance back in the day, is outfitted with fire-breathing skulls, red headlights, and golden velvet curtains on the inside. Plus, it still takes spooky drives throughout the city to this very day. Now, I mentioned earlier about the dungeon. This is a really cool place. The dungeon is located inside Caulfields, and it's located in the back of the store, past rows of masks and costumes and props. So this room is a hosting scene from a scary movie. There's wiggling mummies, oversized mechanical killer clowns, and even monsters hanging from the ceiling, filling the dimly lit quarters. It's open year-round, but the small haunted house is especially frightening during peak season, which is, of course, Halloween, as the maniacal laughter and creepy theatrics seem to echo a little more eerily throughout the halls. All right, but here's another spooky fun fact. Who flew like a butterfly and stung like a bee? That was the famous boxing legend and Louisville's own Muhammad Ali, who was another famous frequent client of Caulfield's. Now, not only was he a famous boxing legend, but he was also an aspiring amateur magician. So he would go to Caulfield's to learn a few tricks of the trade and to see if he could pull a rabbit out of his boxing glove. I don't know if it was accomplished, but he was actually pretty good, especially when it came to card tricks. Okay, before we hit the haunts, we need to understand what occurred in front of Caulfield's that could be the missing puzzle piece to explain the activity that is occurring within its walls. Well, recently, the shop had discovered a bloody massacre actually occurred right down the street from the shop, and this massacre was called the Bloody Monday Massacre. Okay, let's go over the spooky clientele, not the apparitions, but what could be the cause of the activity and its apparitions that reside within the walls of Caulfield's. And it actually turned out that it could possibly be connected to a horrific event that occurred hundreds of years ago just down the street from the Caulfield location. And it's an event that to this very day is still recognized as the Bloody Monday Massacre, or Bloody Monday. And here is what I found. It's remembered as a dark day in the history of the Irish in Louisville. On the first Monday in August of 1855, Protestant mobs attacked German and Irish Catholic neighborhoods in Louisville on an election day. The riots grew out of bitter rivalry between the Democrats and the anti-immigrant Know Nothing Party. The Know Nothings didn't want any Irish going out voting because they sure won't be going to be voting the Know Nothing ticket for a good reason, and there was basically a riot that broke loose in Louisville, said James Patrick Bennessy, president of Irish Society of Kentuckiana. And in the Irish and German parts of town, homes were being burnt down. People were being shot, killed, and stabbed. So it truly was a Bloody Monday. Several street fights ensued and 22 people were killed. A great deal were injured and property was destroyed by fire. It is known as one of the worst anti-immigrant massacres in U.S. history. And it seems like, history just continues to repeat itself, dare I say. All right, but what about the apparitions? We'll sit down with the staff right now as they recall their most terrifying and most unexplainable experiences within the Caulfield's walls. Not too long ago, you had famous TikToker, paranormal researcher, enthusiast, entertainer, and investigator, Kalani the Ghost Hunter, do a 2-day lockdown within Caulfield's. And according to the staff, after conducting several voice box sessions and Estes method sessions, it turned out that with a psychic, they came up with a couple of names that you'll hear eventually in their experiences. Okay, there's no time to waste. Now let's grab your bag, let's grab your selenite and your K2 meter, because we're going to go through the double doors of the entrance of Caulfield's as we sit and meet the staff of this wonderful establishment and learn about the building's history, their most haunted hotspots, and most of all, their ghosts. Now let's go and meet the staff.
We've all had our own experiences, and, you know, we chit-chat about them, and we were all like, is it just us, or, you know, so this used to be 6 separate buildings pinned together. So they were about 6 different storefronts. One of the first Coca-Cola bottling plants was here.
Wow.
And I think my boss Carrie had said when they moved in, they found a lot of tops, like Coca-Cola tops.
Oh, how cool
which
is
is really
that?
cool.
Yeah.
But the building itself actually dates back to the mid to late 1800s. So we can't find really any city records. It's all kind of lost. No real what happened, what each building specifically was throughout time and whatnot. Cindy would actually have some really good stories to tell you, but I could tell you about some of mine. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been here, this year will be 6 years for me. I started when I was 15. I'm not family of the Caulfields, just decided to...
Marvin?
Oh, Marvin, yeah. I just put in my application, and there I was, and my first experience was my second weekend here, and I was upstairs in our stockroom looking for a mask, and there was no one else up there. But as I was bent over, I saw the bottom half of my boss walk by. And I was like, oh, Tracy, I found that mask we were looking for earlier. And I was like, okay, she's not answering me. Maybe she didn't hear me. So I get up and turn around to look, and there's no way out, and she wasn't there.
Oh my gosh.
So I got cold chills. I was a little freaked, But funny enough, she had the same experience 5 years prior to that with someone different.
Oh, wow.
So we do have a doppelganger, a mimic, whatever you want to call it, that floats around in here. We see each other pretty often. When we're not there, we hear each other a lot. You do get used to it, but it is still like, oh,
It's
weren't
kind of
you
like
just right there?
Is it kind of like an initiation? Like, if you're going to work here, you're going to
Honestly,
see things immediately.
And we tell people that. We're like, okay, so, we have some paranormal activity around here, especially if you're working in the stockroom upstairs. It's pretty active up there, and most people are fine with it. Now, we have had people that have put in applications here and are like, oh, I'm not coming back.
You're not coming
that
back.
freaks me out.
Have you had anyone that started and immediately quit because of the activity?
What was, okay.
I had one girl, she came in, she wanted an application, and she had come in first, she was like, it feels weird in here, and I was like, well, I told her about it and everything, so I said, let me take you upstairs. And we just got to the door upstairs.
That's kind of dangerous.
She wouldn't come back.
She
never
wouldn't?
came back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Instead of a 13, can we get a number?
What do you guys think it's here?
So we've basically come to the conclusion, I guess, that we have about 5 active spirits in our building.
Oh, only 5.
Yeah, only 5, no big deal.
Only 5.
I mean, the ones down here are honestly, they don't really bother anybody. I mean, that's when we see people the most down here. It's like, oh, I could have swore I just saw you up here. I just heard you yell for me, or something. I mean, that happens often down here for me more than it does upstairs. Although the other day, Cindy just saw her upstairs while they were going
down here.
while she was down here. So totally different floor. So yeah, I don't know. All we really know is that his name is Marvin. One of them. One of them.
Well, but we don't even know if that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it came through on the spirit box pretty clear, and it came through on Estes a couple of times.
Wow.
And we asked if he knew his nickname, because we call him Marv, and he did respond with Marv, which we thought was really cool.
It's like, I'll go by Marv in my
Yeah.
afterlife. It's fine.
Yeah, Marv. Union Soldier is what we got.
There's a lot of those apparitions around here.
Yeah. Oh, well, then actually
Well, there was
across
a
the
massacre
street,
across the street.
called Bloody Monday.
I was going to segue into that. That's what I noticed on Kalani's
Stickers on our website, or
No, they're custom sale. He hasn't put them on yet.
oh, okay.
on Kalani's video that they mentioned. You guys mentioned that there was the big massacre over there.
Right.
What happened? Like,
Was it, I always forget. I don't know if it was 2 sides of something. I don't remember what it
I don't really
was.
remember. I've read about it, but I don't know.
But the buildings were burned. There was lots of stabbing, shootings, that kind of thing. Lots of death. We're just right across the street. So could it be someone from over there? We don't know.
Possibly.
I mean, we did have a medium come in, and she was the one who initially told us that we had 5 active spirits. The one down here, she said he acts younger mentally than what his actual age is. So that's ones that we have issues with, like stuff falling off of the racks or, you know, like hearing your name called or something like that. We think that may be him.
That is insane.
I don't know. The one on the 3rd floor, she said that he's not.
He's me.
Yeah,
He's a heavy spirit.
Yeah, he's really.
He's just an ornery person.
Yeah. He
He's
doesn't
not,
like women.
You can feel, like, I won't use the 3rd steps on this side, going up to the 3rd floor. I'll go all the way up to this, because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
They're heavy. They're scary.
Is it if you're a woman and you just feel like, no, this is not going to happen? It just
No,
doesn't.
I just think if whoever's open to, I mean, I've always felt this since I've worked here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going around saying,
Yeah.
up to 3rd floor, you don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know, that's not me, but you can feel the,
Yeah.
I call it heavy. I call it the evil stair steps. I'm sorry. That's what I call it.
You don't feel right on those stairs.
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't use them
Okay.
that often. I mean, and you can walk past. I work here at night late. In my office sometimes late, and there's like 2 double doors. Like the offices are this part, and there's 2 double doors to go into the warehouse. Well, I shout on purpose, but you can hear them swinging all night long.
Oh my gosh.
And then you can hear footsteps going up the steps. And then sometimes, like during the day, you'll walk past this door, and it'll shut real hard, and you're like, he's, you know, and I'm like, I'm not.
He just wants to be left alone.
Just leave me.
or
I'm not even
something, yeah.
going your way. I don't even use these steps, sir.
How long have you been working here?
40. Well, I'm part of the Caulfields, so I've been here.
Oh, so you've been here for a long time.
Yeah, I've been here a long time. Yeah, I've been here a long time. Yeah, and we moved in here in '87.
Naturally, I just sit straight
Yeah,
down.
so it's been, you know, and
I even called.
you know, like I'll be up front and I'll see something like this and I'll look, but I've had my name called down here one time.
and we all heard that.
Yeah, we all heard that, and they were shooting a movie here last summer. We were working late. And they said, "Oh, do you want to see the ending scene?" I said, "Sure." You know, I haven't seen none of the movie, but yeah, I'll watch the ending of it. And he said, "Oh, their fog machine went out." I said, "Well, I went up to the 3rd floor to get it." So I go up the back steps, and it's dark and eerie. And, like, the fog machines are on the shelf with the bingo balls. Don't ask me why, but that's where we put them. So I was moving the bingo balls, and I swear something touched me. Threw them everywhere. Balls went everywhere. Grabbed the machine and left. I said, "Okay, I've had enough up here. I'm done."
Yeah, we're done.
Yes.
You could tell because the bingo balls weren't everywhere. You could tell she like jumped and like
Yeah.
was actually
Well, I went
she
up and
was
tried to
startled.
pick them
Yeah.
up the next day. I didn't want anybody falling over them.
Right.
Really good, 'cause
But I wasn't
he
gonna do it in
hires
the middle of the night, no.
nothing but
Because that was like at
military
12 o'clock at
veterans.
night then.
Yeah.
That's who I.
But yeah,
I
it's
try to
there.
support vets as much
The
as
one
possible.
upstairs
I mean, my
bothers me.
husband
You can
was
hear
like,
him.
hey,
That's
dude,
why-
Like if I'm up there looking for something, you can hear shelves ruffling and stuff. And I say, "Hey, who's up here?"
Yeah.
And then nobody
Plus,
answers, and you go
once
look,
Jason leaves,
Yeah.
but there's no one up there. But you know,
Actually, me and the other girl that does like our social media with me, we had hit like a goal for our subscription on TikTok, and we were like, okay, well, like we'll do a live like paranormal walkthrough for you guys, kind of tell you the experiences that we have.
That's
and whatnot.
amazing.
Yeah. So we were on the 3rd floor, which we're both already like, oh, I don't want to be up here right now. Like you amp yourself up already, but as we were up there, we were a little bit more comfortable. But as we were, the people in the comments were like guiding us on which way to go and what to look at, and we were going down an aisle, and we both heard a really deep man voice.
Good luck in your boxing.
Thanks. We both heard a very deep male voice say hello to us, like hello, like is someone there? And at first I was like, okay, it's got to be a coworker. And then I looked at my friend and I was like, okay, no one's up here. Did you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I heard that. I was like, okay, what did you hear? She's like, someone just asked hello. And I was like, okay. And it scared me because normally I'm more comfortable with hearing that through a spirit box or through equipment, not just
In real
with
time,
my-
like
but
just
your ears,
organically.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a fright because it was very deep and it was very like almost like, what are you doing up here?
Oh my
kind of thing.
God.
And we've had reports of people hearing growls up there, really deep growls in the back corner of the workshop.
You heard it, huh?
It was, we, Trevor and I were up there the one night
and we got to the 3rd floor, and he put down the REM pod, I guess it was. We heard the loudest growl I have ever. I swear to God, it sounded like a werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, it's deep.
And I mean, it was guttural. Like, I mean, I was like,
Came
did
from the
you
throat.
hear that? It didn't pick up on his camera, but
you can hear
we're
it.
on the 3rd floor, and like, there was nobody out. It was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And it was, I mean, I was like even
And there's
thinking
no
about
one
it now,
here. It's just
It was just me and him.
Yeah.
It was just me and him. And then we went to the 2nd floor, and I might still have it on my phone. We were walking through, and the 2nd room, where we call it the mask room, we were walking through, and his phone was on a gimbal. And every time I asked him to do something, it would keep flipping. And then I said, "Is this Mr. Caulfield or Miss Ruby?" Which were the owners. And I said, "If it's you guys, flip that camera." And it flipped. It scared the crap out of me. I said, "That's it. I'm done."
And what's weird about that?
But they're not here.
That's so weird, because when because Kalani was here twice.
Yeah.
He was here for TikTok, and then he shot his YouTube video. The first time I kind of talked to him, I was like, okay, we kind of want to figure out if it is Mr. Caulfield or if it's Miss Ruby.
right.
Because who is it? You know?
Yeah.
No, immediately through like the little epoch yes no box that he has. Got no, and then I think we might have gotten no on the spirit box, not 100% on that. But it was weird because it's like, is it presenting as a family member? Is like, what's going on here?
Right.
Are you trying to throw us off? So I don't know, really weird. I think my scariest experience was also probably on the 2nd floor. It was I was looking through stock on our 2nd floor, and this was actually in Kalani's videos. Whatever. I'm digging through the box, and I see a really, really tall man standing next to me.
Oh my god. So you are seeing like a full body apparition at this point.
100%. Dressed, everything. Like,
How was he dressed?
it was like suit, a little bit older, like you could tell. Like, I didn't really catch the face.
Not of this time period,
No,
pretty much.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, okay, we'll get into that. But I was like, I thought it was my coworker Trevor. And I was like, what are you doing up here? And he didn't move. And normally they kind of, it's a split second, they're gone.
Yeah.
It was like kind of
No,
continuous
he was standing.
for about 2 full minutes.
He's standing here.
I was like, okay.
He ain't leaving.
Then I started getting like kind of hot, and I was like a little nervous. I was like, and then I looked, gone, immediately gone. But the weirdest thing was that freaked me out is when I was like, what are you doing? He like bent down, like he was gonna talk to me. Yeah.
Good night. Good night.
They interact with you.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No,
Trevor
yeah.
and I.
Okay.
So this is intelligent then.
They're very
Oh
smart.
yeah, they'll answer.
But
you
you know what?
Not like
No, but they're like, they're not a residual.
But
It's not just a shadow. It's like,
No,
no,
like
I'm here.
full body apparition.
Yeah.
Marvin is definitely intelligent.
But they will not use REM pods.
They won't use REM pods, and they're usually not like, they won't show themselves to new people.
Yeah.
If we're there,
They're comfortable with
yes,
us.
because
Yeah.
they're. I mean, I've been here for 15 years, and I mean,
You
I
have
had
that
like
rapport.
my first experience. I never said anything to anybody because I thought it's just my imagination. I was in the back room, which is now where the dungeon is, but that used to be Bystel, and I was back there. They said, "Here, you need to put these things away," and I'm sitting on the floor and I'm putting stuff away, and I hear somebody running from one end of the room to the other end, and I'm like, who the hell is back here? And I'm looking and I don't see anybody, and I go back, and and then after a while I was like, you know what, I'm getting really tired of this. And I thought it was my coworker.
Yeah.
I hear the footsteps coming towards me. I jump in, I went boom, and there was nobody there. I dropped the stuff and I said, I am not going back there. I wouldn't go back there for like a whole week. It scared the crap out of me.
They're actually pretty strong too.
Yeah.
I mean,
They will-
really?
They
yeah,
threw.
I've had a box thrown,
Yeah.
literally thrown at me.
And
Not like
how many
picked
pounds
up.
are these boxes? 20 pounds or?
No, some of them were like empty, but then there was a box. I was up on the 3rd floor looking for something, and I was like digging in the box, and like right behind me, it was like mimicking, like scratching, and I was like, I got up and I looked, and I'm like, and I'm looking in the box, and I thought maybe it was an animal.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. So I go back, same thing, and I turned around. I was like, what? and the box went and moved 2 feet towards me. I said, "That's it. I'm
That's
outta
it.
here."
You're out of here.
Like,
Peacing
even
out.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. But the scariest one.
It's Trevor.
What happened with Trevor?
Yeah.
So he had, this is right when we were like, okay, something's here, and we want to know what it is. So it was like, what, this second or third ever people to come investigate here. They were setting up on the 3rd floor. This was the same night the medium was here. She was the only woman, I think, that was there too. But anyways, they were setting up on the 3rd floor, their equipment, and a piece of sheet metal comes and throws and just like hits Trevor on the arm and just lands perfectly right in between them.
Yeah, I have actually. Let me.
Do you does this happen any time during the day, or is there a set time where it's like at night?
We never know when it's going to happen.
Just unexpected.
It's happened early in the morning. It's happened late at night. It
amps up in the summer though.
Yeah, like
in the summer.
Oh, the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Like not last year,
But the year
was
before.
it the year before? It was so bad that
bad.
it actually started trickling down here.
Oh my god!
It was really bad. Like, if you want, I'll show you the door that goes to the 3rd floor.
I was going to ask you if you guys. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, let me take you upstairs. And I'll show
Oh
you.
my god!
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
you don't mind me if
No.
I could record? Okay.
No, not a
oh my god!
problem. I'll show
I'll
you.
leave my stuff right there. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. No, thank you. You're appreciated.
Just be careful because it's going to go.
Okay. So this is to the 3rd floor.
This stairway, this will go to the 2nd floor, and we've had instances where we've heard people coming down these stairs, heavy footsteps.
And yeah, and this
then
is
you're waiting,
yeah.
and nothing happens, and you hear how that door squeaks. We've heard that door open,
It's a loud door.
and all of a sudden, there's nobody here. Let me turn on my light real quick.
Whoa, yeah. It is a different
You can feel it.
energy compared to
Yes.
downstairs.
We've had this door right here. This one will have a tendency to open and close by itself. That was our former lunchroom. You'd be in there and you would hear shuffling behind you, and turn around, there's nobody there. This is the door that goes to the 3rd floor. Nobody likes going up this stairway.
Yeah, that seems intimidating.
I had this door one time, my boss night, it was early in the morning. It wasn't even 9 o'clock. Passing by this way, this door opened like this and slammed shut. I mean, it scared me. I was like, whoa, what the hell? And then it did this.
No.
So I thought it was Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
And I went,
And nothing's
"There's
there.
nothing." And you see, there's not much room.
Oh my gosh.
And if you want, you can go up
Yeah.
the steps. I'll let you
This
go
is
first.
this all looks so like
Yeah,
it,
just be careful going up the steps. They're not
Alright.
going to break or anything, but
right.
it's
It's
just
pretty
kind of dark.
it's pretty old and yeah.
And just let me know if you feel anything.
Absolutely. I already started feeling something as we were like by that door.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like it's very messy up here because we're renovating, so I do apologize.
No, it's okay. I
this
work
is
in
actually-
costumes, so I understand.
Right here, back there by that window, that's where we heard the growl.
Ooh.
And, you know, he had placed the REM pod like right here. And I mean, it sounded like, you know, Spot or Dragon. That's what it sounded like.
Oh my god.
And it was like, what the hell? And obviously, there's nobody up here.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to hear it because these floors are not exactly quiet.
They are and these are original, huh? They've been here for a very long time. Like the wall here.
1875, I think they dated the building.
No wonder, yeah.
And it was 5 or 6 buildings, in which they kind of put together. We know in early 1900s it was a Coca-Cola bottling company.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they knocked down some of the walls, there was uncrimped Coke caps in the walls. We get a lot of stuff around here. You'll hear somebody messing around there and nobody's here. This is where I had the experience. This used to be a lot more stuff. And I was over here like this, digging in a box, so I was like, and the box was behind me, and this, that's what I heard. So I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, whatever. Went back, and the box went, and I was like, oh, I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Do you think the reason why this activity happens is because like it doesn't want anyone up here? This is its space.
Whatever's up here, the medium has said whatever's up here does not like women.
Okay.
Now, I've never been touched. I think if I ever got touched, I'd be out of here in a heartbeat. Had the box come towards me. I had a box going down here. This is where the Christmas stuff. I don't like it down here. It creeps me out.
Well, yeah.
Especially at night. But came up here one day looking for something. I was annoyed, hot. I was like, damn, this place is a shithole. And a box literally from there come flying off the shelf. And I was like, I'm sorry, Miss Ruby, which is their the owner's mom. But we don't know who's here. There's times where you'll hear somebody walking up and down here. You'll be, whatever, if you're on that side, they're walking here. If you come over here, they go over there. That room, I despise that room. I am, like, my arm. Yeah, everything is, I'm getting it right now. And the thing that's coming to my head is it wants respect. It wants a space, but it doesn't want to know. It doesn't want you to know what they are, who it is. And I will.
And that is fine.
This is the junk room. There are some props in here, so don't get, and it's, just watch the floor for sure, because.
Yeah.
This is where we've heard growls here too, back there. I brought a ghost group up here and they heard growls down there. I didn't hear it, but they heard it.
Okay.
There is a stuffed dog that's over there that I will not touch. A gentleman picked that up and he said he got burned. Like, it felt like something burned him. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that dog has been here.
Heard that.
And I was like, and I know we used to do carnival prizes, so I'm going to say maybe 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you can tell by just looking at the dog, it's an older dog. But if I don't have to be up here, I won't be up here.
Yeah, I think what it is, it doesn't also, I'm getting that, wow, I'm getting a lot. It's like, I don't want you touching anything in my space.
Right. And that's the dog.
Right. Okay.
And he picked that up because it was sitting upright. He picked it up and he was like, and I said, what happened? He said, that thing burned my hand and I won't touch it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's just a stuffed dog. I won't touch
it. How long has this been here?
More than I've been here. I've been here for 15 years.
Really?
It's because, I mean, that, by looking at it, I would say, what, 70s?
It's very, it has that look.
Maybe?
Yeah.
It's probably been here since then.
Yeah.
I never went into this room until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because every time I would come up here, it sounded like somebody was in here. Yeah. And there was nobody here. And it's pitch black, and just the vibes that it was giving is like so awful. And then I'll take you into Carrie's workshop, which is another place I do not like. I get really bad vibes from it.
Do you ever feel like you guys are in danger?
No.
Okay.
Now that I think we know, like with Marvin, we know he's here. It's not too bad. I'm just more scared than anything, but not like danger.
Right.
This is Carrie's workroom. Now, I can tell you, one of the first times I was up here, I was actually walking down those aisles. The door was closed, and I heard drills and hammers, and I thought somebody was in here. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? The lights are off. Why are they in here? I opened the door, it stopped.
It stopped.
Absolutely nobody here.
Interesting.
And this is, I want to say this was around the area that they got the piece of sheet metal thrown at them. I did bring a woman up here probably about 6 months ago. She was recording. She got into this room. No, she got into the next room in here, and her camera started taking picture after picture, like somebody was like rapidly pushing it, and then it froze, but the counter kept going, and then it completely shut off.
It's starting to make things malfunction.
Yep, and this is, sorry, it's
you're fine.
in here. But, there's old lockers in here. They're probably not super old, but Carrie used to do a lot of work up here, so.
Who's Carrie?
Carrie's one of the owners. I don't even know what that is. That thing has got to be, God knows how old.
It's a lot of old. Do they collect by any chance antiques, or have they collected anything in the
That
past?
I don't know, but since the store has been around so long,
And
1920,
yeah.
they have a lot of stuff from, like, they have like little toys that they used to get from the 40s, things like that. So I know sometimes, like, Kerry will do work for something, and one of his friends, instead of paying him, he'll say, "Oh, I found a barber chair," and bring it in here. Like, one of the guys was like, he owed Kerry some money, whatever, and he found an old dentist chair. And so it's in the other room. And I don't know, could that have started it?
It could. I mean, it's a possibility that other things can trigger whatever's here and already here. It's a lot. It's heavy with history.
Right.
It's dating back to a long time. And I
guarantee you, this probably, because there was, before this was like a carpet place or something. So I know the carpet, when we go down to the second floor, the carpet that's on the floor is from the 40s. Because we've had people say that they want to rip up the carpet and they want to buy it. The carpet is filthy.
What?
But I had some guy tell me, "Oh, no, this carpet's from the 40s and 50s. It's an antique." I'm like, "It's dirty." But I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. But also, which I'll take you downstairs and I'll show you, which is another thing we don't know, is there's a hearse. Carrie's got a 1906
Well, here we go.
Cadillac hearse.
Yeah.
Let me turn the light back on so we don't fall.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's got the
lot.
original curtains in it.
Well, there you go.
And back then.
All right, I'm going to put a pause right here because I think I may have captured an EVP in response to what Tracy is saying about the hearse. It sounds like a man saying yes. Let me replay it for you and let me know your thoughts. Could it be an EVP? Could it be something? Or could it just be, I don't know, the wind? Let's hear it once more.
And back then it was a hearse/ambulance. Could it be that something is attached to it? We don't know.
It could be something attached. It could be something that is triggering. It has absorbed a lot of trauma.
Right.
This is, I'm in my head, I'm like, thank you. We're being very respectful.
Thank you. I know when they did some kind of Estes box, they got the name, I want to say it was Amy. I know the girls were getting a lot of screams and like blood-curdling screams the first time they did that. And they kept getting words like stab, choke. So it was kind of interesting. This used to all be full of stock. This is where Bradley was saying she saw somebody. She was over here doing something. And she bent down like this and she looked over and there was somebody right here. And she thought it was Tracy, who's our boss. Turned around, nobody here. Same spot 5 years earlier, had almost the exact same thing. Coming up the stairs, walking like this, and I look over and I just see this portion of a body, because I'm looking down, walk that way. And I thought it was my coworker Kyle. And I was like, "Kyle, what are you doing here? It's 6:30. You're supposed to leave at 4. And then all of a sudden I realized, I was like, "Wait a minute." And I went this way. There's no way to get out.
It's all windows right here.
Yeah. And just imagine this filled with stock.
Yeah. So
it was very dark and whatever. And then I realized, oh my God, there was no footsteps. And you hear how
it's like you walk and like even if you just make one little step, it makes a loud noise.
Yeah.
So that is unexplainable.
Right, and like that's the costume room and the hat room, which is all empty. I've never had anything in there, but have had walking in here, had the lights turned on this way, you know, and we're looking around, nobody's in here, and somebody turned the light out, and I'm like, dude, I'm in here, nobody here. Wow. And I'm like, okay.
It is bare.
It's right now
it is
bare.
Completely bare.
But this used to be full of costumes, and I had a box thrown at me here too. I was over there and I was looking for something. I was like, damn, this place is so freaking dirty.
Yeah.
Box came off. I guess they were pissed. I was complaining about it.
Yeah, it's their spot. This is them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the video. I will show you when we get downstairs. Trevor and I were right here, and he had his phone on a gimbal, and that thing, I would ask a question, boom, it kept flipping. But it was only this room. There's times that you'll be here and you hear somebody messing around down there, and I had it yesterday. I went over there to look for something, and I heard somebody walking over here, and I was like, okay, who is over here?
Right.
Walk over, nobody here. And it wasn't like, oh, it's coming from downstairs. No, it was footsteps, and it was shuffling. So it's like, okay. That door has a tendency to swing open and close all the time. I've been up here, and sometimes you hear more than one person talking. It sounds like a man and a woman having a conversation, but you never can understand what they're saying.
Right.
Never. It sounds like a radio. That's exactly what it sounds like.
But you hear it plain as
Clearly,
day.
yeah, it's definitely somebody talking.
It's just talking, not arguing.
No, just talking like you and me having talking.
Interesting.
This is the carpet. And apparently they're saying that it's from the 40s. Now, I don't know. Could it be somebody that's still... We don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot here. You guys... you have a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of everything, and it's just like counteracting with each other.
Right.
Now, I had the feeling that there are like antiques in here, and when you brought up hearse and when you brought up all these other things, it's like, well, that makes sense.
Right.
Tied in with the violent history across the
Course,
street.
Yeah, across the street.
Yeah.
And then, when Kalani was doing the Estes box, he kept getting the word Hawkins. Kept bringing up Hawkins. And somebody was on watching live, and they said, around the Civil War, there was a thing called a Hawkins rifle. So, I mean,
wow.
how would that, it's just, it's weird stuff.
It's dating back to,
right.
Yeah. It's a combination of a lot of things. So, Caulfield's open, or was the building open in the 20s?
It was open in the 20s, but it was on a different location.
Okay.
We've had things here, you'll be over there, and you'll hear somebody walking around here, and there's nobody here. Again, the floor creaks.
But yeah, you would hear someone.
Right.
You would hear a soul
so
walking.
I'm going to turn the lights on just so you don't fall, because it's a mess. The hearse is right there. We'll go down this way. Just
Oh my God.
because it is a mess.
This
Now,
is the hearse.
Even walking over there, I'm
Oh
starting
my
to get
goodness.
like chills.
Yeah.
Normally I don't get that because I've seen the hearse a million times. But I just found out recently that those curtains that are in there are original. So they are 1940 something. This is her.
Oh my God, look at her. Yeah.
So can you feel it? You feel it
You didn't even have to say anything.
yeah, I feel it, and I don't.
Even like while walking up there, I'm like, there's something here, and I think this was it.
Yeah.
This is.
I mean, we've had it before the hearse was here,
Yeah.
but maybe
This
bringing the hearse here, did it piss them off?
It triggered something here for sure.
Right.
It could have most likely been it's something here that is a big magnet. It's a lot of things that happened in here. It was an ambulance, a lot of trauma attached to it.
Right.
I mean, I have friends who drive hearses. They don't feel anything, but now that you mentioned too, it was an ambulance.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I thought it was just a hearse.
No, I mean it.
And as far as I know, a lot of this stuff is original. So, and there is a coffin back there. I don't know if.
Oh boy.
I mean, you can
There's
barely,
so many surprises.
You can barely see.
There's a coffin, and I think there's a body in there, and the skeleton was actually used.
You can barely see it. Like if you look through, you can see there's a coffin in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I guarantee it's a real coffin.
Oh,
I guarantee.
absolutely.
And even like where the
This
Grandpa
is-
Munster.
Yeah.
That's a real coffin too.
Oh.
So.
Well, there you go. I mean, you guys have a lot of items here. And I've seen this in other locations. They've had a lot of triggering objects. Objects that were used in horrific crimes.
Right.
Wow.
So, like I said, there's days you come back here and nothing. You don't feel a thing. And other days, it seems like whenever we're renovating, we're moving stuff around, it seems to piss them off. We're moving stuff upstairs. We're throwing boxes away, moving stuff around. pissed him off. When we did that room, we redid it. It's pissed Marvin off. He, I know they say that ghosts don't like, they like stuff to be kept the way it was.
Yes, when something gets disrupted, something awakens. So.
On the second floor, there's an old bathroom, which if I had to go to the bathroom, I would rather poop in my pants than go to that bathroom because it feels like something in a Waverly. It's the creepiest.
I'm going there tonight.
I'm going in a couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh.
We had a guy that worked here, and we told him, and he, yeah. Well, he was working in that bathroom. They were painting or whatever, and he kept hearing banging on the wall, and he was like, "Dude, stop!" He thought it was the other guy. Came around the corner, nobody there, and a box flew up, and like this. He picked his stuff up and he ran out.
He ran out there.
He did come back, but you could tell he was scared. He was scared. And we've never seen him like that before. So, but now I've seen Briley when she's not here. I see Trevor when he's not here. In fact, on Wednesday, I saw Janine, and that's the first time I've seen her. And she said, "I'm going downstairs to get something." Had my back doing this way, and I turned around, and she was standing like this. And I was like, "I thought you were going, whatever." Turned around this way, turned back, she was gone.
Oh my God.
Trevor and I had it right when we were working on that dungeon. We were standing right outside. We were standing like, here's the doorway. We were right here, dressing a prop. And I saw somebody walk, full body, walk right past the door. And I was like, what the hell? And like, there's a counter, like, so I got confused. I was like, dude, somebody had to be behind that counter. Who the hell is there? So I looked out, nobody there. And I said, Trevor, did you just see that? He said, yeah, it was Joe. It was out of the point. I said, there's nobody there. Looked out, it had to be Marvin. I could tell it was dark clothing, but I couldn't get a look at his face. But I mean, it was somebody standing this way.
Yeah. And how tall is his figure? Is it pretty tall?
Oh, he was big.
He's big.
Yeah, he was probably like that tall.
What is the feeling you guys get when you...
Now that we know he's who it is, it's not as bad.
Okay.
Now, the one on the second and third floor, sometimes that's creepy because we don't know who it is.
Who it is, yeah.
I don't think that Marvin and whoever's up there,
Not
we
the
don't
same.
think that's the same person.
And I was telling her that I kept on getting a lot. It was coming to me like, don't touch anything. And then she's like, yeah, whenever someone touches this or says this, I'm like, holy crap. I'm getting that. I'm like,
Now,
I'm not going to touch.
Did you have any breathing problems when you go up those stairs?
Well, yeah, because I mean, it is stairs and I haven't worked out in 4 days.
When,
But when I went up there, so this thing happens with my head. It feels very fuzzy. My left temple was feeling a little like achy. I was just getting shivers, and I'm warm and I'm getting shivers.
Yeah.
But a lot of things were coming to my head, like, don't touch anything. And I kept on saying, I respect you. It's okay. We're cool. I'm just here in your space and whatever. But whatever was there, the feeling that I got and that I was telling her too, I don't think it wants you to know what it is. It really does not want you to know. It wants you to go in and out, and that's it.
And that's so funny because anytime, anyways, I don't really like going up there by myself, but I'll always be like, hi, I'm up here. I'll be in and out in just a second.
now we start doing that.
Yes,
to let them know,
you
hey,
have to now.
I'm sorry I'm bothering you, but I have to get this. When I go back there, I'm like, hey, Marvin.
Yeah. That is the feeling that I got there.
We left for Easter. Marvin, I hope you have a good Easter.
Yeah.
It's just
peace out.
Things like
that.
And
we cool.
It's not like, we know Marvin is not nasty and mean. He just doesn't want anybody to
It's
mess
territorial.
with him. We've had people come in, I'm going to go back there and antagonize him. Don't, because we're the ones that end up dealing with it.
End up with the wrath.
Same week you had that. We have like this little slime. It's like, packaged and just...
It's fart putty.
A couple of weeks yeah. Funny enough,
I love it.
A week prior, I'd say, this guy came in and he was like, did you have spirits? And we're like, oh yeah, telling him, the dungeon's pretty active.
Yeah.
Really depends on the person. He goes, okay, I'm gonna go. He said in his words, I'm gonna go piss him off. And he was like, okay. So I guess he did whatever he did and he left. And that's when Cindy had
I was
something
walking
thrown
this
at
way.
her.
Here I'm going like this, and this jar of fart putty comes flying from over there and hit me in the ankle.
So it came
There
from
was
here.
nothing. And you want to know where it was? On the front counter. So how the hell did it get from there to here? And it was thrown at this way and hit me in the ankle. And I was
you
like,
heard it hit the ground.
I was like, what?
You're
I was
like, what
the
did
hell? I
it
looked
do?
down. Yeah, I mean, you saw it that one day. That clip came out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh, y'all got thrown at me. So
Yeah.
was it you?
No,
It was
you were standing. We were both up there, and we were talking. I don't even know what we were talking about, and I don't know if we mentioned Marvin or we mentioned. And one of those clips that's hanging up there came flying from over here at both of us. It was like it was like we didn't even do anything. Oh, did you tell her about the name? How it came up? The name in here when Kalani asked what his name was. And that was really weird because we didn't.
Zach.
We didn't tell
So what's
Kalani
funny is we actually named the spirit in that room Zach.
because he's dramatic. He likes to throw things, and
Right.
move things. So we named him Zach after Zach Bagans because how.
Well, dramatic.
And
Kalani was here and we were Spirit Box or Savannah might have been under Estes. I don't remember which one. We're back by the dressing room and Kalani asked a question and it responded Zach. And we were like, we didn't tell Kalani that.
nobody knew. Only we're the only ones that know
because
that.
we name them because we didn't know their names, so we just gave them names. And it came through and it was like, I'm
Said
Zach.
yeah, because it was like who's in the front room, and they said, you know, are you a man or woman? It came up boy.
Yeah.
And then they asked him how old he was, and I thought he said
14.
14.
Yeah.
And the medium had told us it's a teenager, but he acts younger.
Yeah.
We never let them know.
I was gonna say, because when you were mentioning about this thing being thrown and you being thrown the clip, I'm like, that sounds very like adolescent.
Yeah, because I mean,
you know?
we've seen it
Get
being
their
in
attention.
there.
It's messing with. It sounds like it's trying to get your attention, but at the same time, messing with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we had the magic counter used to be over where the dragon is.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we have that shelf that moves. We had a top hat on the top of it. For whatever reason, she took a picture of it. We have no reason why she took it.
I don't know why I did.
We're all standing here talking, and we heard something hit the floor, and we were like, what the hell? We look, that top hat is almost over by Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So it was thrown pretty far.
And I was like, wait.
I was like, what? So I picked it up, and I went to put it back on there, and we had cutouts that were on the counter. I saw them actually lift up and fall right at my feet, and I was
Jeez.
like, dude, really?
Yeah. You're
was
like, I'm really
like,
getting tired of
come
this.
But yeah, I mean, when we had cameras in that room,
Yeah.
one time we went upstairs, and it was myself, Tracy, and Trevor, and we saw an orb, like it, boom, 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 boom,
Each
boom,
register.
and it did for 30 minutes straight,
Yeah.
and it was not a bug, because you know how bugs are.
Yeah. They
This
go,
was like
"Put-a-put-a-put-a-put."
floating over. It would go to one register, stay there, then it'd go to the other one, and then it'd go to that one, and then we were like, what the hell? And this is before we even knew, but I mean, I had seen things fall off, like literally slide off the shelf,
Yeah.
right in front of me.
Do you
So-
guys have cameras here? Like security cameras? Do they get triggered, or have you captured anything on there? Like,
Not
We haven't captured anything, but they do go off really often.
Interesting.
Especially the one in like Tracy's garage.
Yeah, Tracy's garage goes off all the time with the hearses.
Where, yeah.
Constantly.
there you go.
It sounds like it'll give notifications. Now,
Yeah.
yesterday, when I came in with Tracy, I was back there. I was back in the back waiting for her to park, and I heard where Janine Carey Park said, "Hi, you are being recorded."
Yeah.
And that's all the way at the other end. There was nobody there,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, look, I'm sorry, I gotta come through here to get to work. I'm
it's
sorry.
definitely like before like I knew what was going on, it scared me because like me and my boss were just talking the other day, like a lot of us can like you can walk into a room and you're like, okay, it's heavy. There's
Yeah,
someone in
you could
here.
feel
And we're like,
that.
we don't know if only certain people can do that because a couple other people here don't feel a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, whatever. But it's
doesn't
like
seem
me,
to respond
it's like
to guys.
no.
Interesting.
No,
They
which
respond
is
to
so
women.
weird because when Kalani was here, he got a little bit, but it was like I did Estes, my coworker did Estes, and then Savannah did it, and that's where we got a lot of our hits was when like they were, I guess, using us to talk through, you know? And they have asked us by name on the spirit box. They've asked for Cindy.
Oh, yes, they asked her name. Now, Briley
Whoa.
is not like a
easy,
really
common
name.
you know?
Yeah.
But they did ask.
And it said it to me.
And
Yeah,
it said
it said-
Briley.
Yeah.
Well, it said, when I wasn't even here. I was here earlier, but I had left. And it said something like, who else is here? Who else is somebody you like? And it said my name.
Cindy, yeah.
I wouldn't even hear.
And I think they want to talk to her because she's been here
I've been
the
here
longest.
a long time.
Well, yeah,
Right-
you
right
guys have
under,
built
like,
up.
the owners. She's been here the longest.
You
and she's
have that rapport with them. They
And
know you, and
Larry
they're.
had been here for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I.
20-something years, but doesn't interact with men.
Yeah.
And that concluded my paranormal walkthrough in one of Kentucky's most haunted costume shops, and quite possibly, in my opinion, the most haunted costume shop in the US, and that is Caulfield's Novelty and Costumes. I just wanted to say that all the workers there really embodied the true Southern hospitality of Kentucky, because towards the end of my tour, we ended up chatting some more, and I ended up closing Caulfields with the staff. Not once did I feel out of place. Not once did I feel rushed out of the doors. I definitely felt that they made me feel like I was a part of that family. And that is so beautiful and so interesting about this costume shop, is that even though it is owned by the Caulfields make you feel like you're definitely a part of that family. And I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of them, to Cindy, to Tracy, and Riley. And if you ask me what my opinion is of Caulfields, is it really haunted? 100%. And here's why. You have workers who have experienced many, many things. And what is so amazing about their experiences is that it's a shared experience, that they had experiences that were very parallel to one another. They've all experienced the doppelganger, hearing their names being called out, having things almost thrown at them, and seeing the apparition or the supposed apparition of the tall man Marv. Now, the very next day, I ended up splitting a delicious barbecue chicken pizza with my new friend, Anne-Marie. If you remember in part 1, Anne-Marie was a skeptic psychic, and over this pizza I was explaining to her about this costume shop, and before I could go into the specifics of the entities, she picked up already the entity of what the staff claimed to be Marv. She immediately tells me that she was getting the impression of a very tall yet older gentleman in a very tall suit. He resides in one of the top floors, but what was so fascinating about her reading was this, and this was actually nothing that she knew about Caulfield. She didn't even know Caulfields existed, nor did I inform her about any of the ongoings yet. So she tells me this entity gets a rise out of scaring the women there. He actually really enjoys it. It's not so much that he hates them. He just loves the power he has over them. It's almost like he can control their fear. And he definitely gets a kick out of it. My mouth dropped along with the pizza mid-chew as I reached over to grab a shot of some Kentucky Wild Turkey. I couldn't believe that she was able to pick that up, despite the fact that I had told her nothing in regards to the entities in that location. So if you're ever in Louisville, Kentucky, you definitely want to stop at Caulfield's Novelty and Costumes. Experience the haunts in every sense of the word, and definitely take a tour of the dungeon. But be careful, you might run into a few animatronic killer clowns, a werewolf, and I don't know, maybe most likely a doppelganger. That is not a part of the theatrics, my friends. Now, if you're a Patreon member, I will be posting the videos of the third floor walkthrough with Tracy, the manager. She was so amazing and so open and was so willing to share all of her experiences that were attached to that location. You'll get to see the hearse/ambulance. You'll see the haunted stuffed animal. So if you're a Patreon member, you're definitely going to get that perk. I'm currently working on my episode for you guys, just for Patreon members, on my Waverly Hills Sanatorium investigation with Shane Pittman and Adam Berry and Aaron Sagers. It was so great. Oh, and also John E.L. Tenney. It was pretty intense in times, and it was a really good investigation. And Waverly Hills was everything I expected it to be, and so much more. Okay, all you Holly weirdos. If you love Hollyweird Paranormal, please drop us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us indie podcasters out so much. It helps us become a little more visible. And if you really love Hollyweird Paranormal, you want to learn more about the podcast and myself and Bryce Mitchell-Williams, then head on over to our website at www.hollyweirdparanormal.com. You can venture through our past episodes and seasons, shop our merch store, which is quite delicious, and get more information on our Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, for as little as $1 or more per month, you could feed some hungry ghosts. Just kidding. You can actually support the podcast. And you can do so by heading on over to patreon.com/Hollyweird Paranormal for as little as $1 or more per month, every month, or for however many months you want to control your donations. You can do so by supporting the podcast. This helps us keep our hosting site up. It helps us, with our coffee addictions. It also helps with the gas to get to and from each other's locations to record. And let's just say that a little truly does go a long way. And we appreciate our current members and our past members. You are appreciated. We adore you. And if we were ghosts, we would definitely haunt you. Okay. So if you want to stalk us some more, you can stalk us at Hollyweird Paranormal on Instagram and Facebook. We're on Twitter, or now, which is called X. Exciting, I guess, at HWP Podcast. We're also at Hollyweird Paranormal on Threads. If you'd like to follow me on my haunted journeys and listen to my haunted ghost stories on TikTok, you can follow me at Haunted LA Girl on TikTok. Okay, friends, we hope that you have a wonderful, spectacular day. And we hope that you are taking care of yourselves, that you're taking care of each other, but most of all, that you're staying Hollyweird. All right, friends, take care and much love. Till next time.